Hi everyone! Well, we're finally here. It's the final episode of Percy Jackson Season 2. The Fleece works its magic too well. Again, this is another title from the books, and another one that kind of feels like an artifact title because the Fleece works exactly as both parties intended it to, but you know, we'll get there. So remember, at the end of the last episode, Percy's mom, Sally, sort of picked up Percy, Annabeth, Grover, and Tyson and is driving them to camp. They get to the camp, or at least the road leading up to the camp, and they see, Blackjack the Pegasus is there, but no Clarice. So Percy gets out to talk to Blackjack because remember, you know, Son of Poseidon can speak to horses. And he finds out that Clarice didn't make it. I mean, she's alive, but Luke's army is gathering outside of camp. And so this is a pretty big departure from the book, because in the book, the climax was set on the Princess Andromeda. Whereas, like, after Clarice gets on Blackjack with the Fleece, Luke tries to kill Percy, Annabeth, Grover, Tyson, and then Chiron comes in with the centaurs to rescue them, and they sort of use their fast speed. They use essentially a warp zone to, like, just get away, because centaurs can do that. Yeah, they use fast travel, because centaurs are video game characters. Whatever, but yeah, that doesn't happen here. They're at camp. The barrier is weakening because, like, Thalia's tree is slowly being poisoned. You can see, like, branches falling off of it. And some of the, one of the Light Dragonian giants, you know, those weird orc Braveheart giants, manages to sneak through. He throws a throws a fireball, and it blows up Tantalus. So, yeah, sorry about that. Oh, no, it was happening just as Tantalus was finally able to grab a piece of food. So, yeah. Bye, Tantalus. Yeah, Clarice is on, like, the other side of camp. She's trying to get to the tree, which I thought the tree was, like, on the border. Why couldn't you just fly around to at least closer to the border? There's some other demigods, like, who are there to, like, protect camp. Percy, Annabeth, and friends, you know, meet up with another group. They try to go to Mr. D to, like, help out. But Mr. D is, of course, lazy and doesn't want to do anything, even when Percy says, hey, Kronos is back. And so Percy, you know, does this big hero speech to, like, the other campers. And because it's a TV show, it riles them up. And they all go to help him go defend the camp. Clarice meets up with Chris Rodriguez. You remember him, right? He was in, like, I think the first 1 or 2 episodes of this season. Like, they're on their way, but then Chris goes, like, there's a spy among us. And he turns to this girl named Katie. I think her... Oh my god. What's her name? Because she's in the book. I think her name's Katie Bell? Or Katie Gardner. Or one of those. Because the other one's a Harry Potter character. I think it's Gardner. Because I remember she's a daughter of Demeter. You know, the goddess of the harvest. And he's like, you're the spy! Very decisively. And stabs her. And then they'll just start fighting. And then he reveals, actually, I'm the spy. This all happens in like 30 seconds, by the way. And it's like, yeah, I work for Luke. Clarice tries to get away, and Chris like chases her. Almost gets her, but that's when Annabeth and Grover come in on a chariot and like rescue Clarice. Meanwhile, Percy and Tyson are leading like the rest of the campers over to fight Luke's army, because Luke has a bunch of other demigods with him, including that Allison girl, and of course more giants. Luke, lets the giants in, because, you know, a demigod could just give people permission to enter. Something weird, I don't know if we've heard Luke's last name pronounced before. I've been calling him Castellan, because that's just what I've been hearing other people call him. He pronounces here as Castellan, which I've never heard before. At least I've heard Thalia's name being pronounced as Thalia, like in a couple things. And yeah, there's a big battle, and I don't know how to describe fight scenes. Like, unless it's like a one-on-one fight, like, well, Luke versus Percy in the last one. It's sort of hard for me to describe them because they fight. I mean, there's a lot of clashing swords. There's some fast cuts. But not too fast so that you can actually tell what's happening. Percy disarms Luke kind of quickly. Then Luke disarms Percy, and he just starts punching him in the face like over and over. It's like a kind of a slow version of Iron Man and the Hulkbuster punching out the Hulk in Age of Ultron. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Kind of like that. And actually draws blood, which We don't really see that much, like, in this show. But yeah, he's actually bleeding kind of bad from his nose, and, like, yeah, it's kind of gross. Annabeth, Grover, and Clarice, like, show up with the fleece. They're on their chariot, and before Luke can manage to kill Percy, here comes Tyson to save the day again. Like, he throws his, like, trident, it, like, catches Luke, and, like, flings him back and sort of knocks him out of the battle. But yeah, when Annabeth, Grover, and Clarice get here, Allison manages to shoot Annabeth with an arrow. I don't remember what happened to Allison afterwards. And she's like, okay, everyone, we need to cut down the tree. Clarice manages to, like, throw, like... She attaches the fleece to a spear. It manages to, like, hit the tree perfectly. And for some reason, none of Luke's demigods take it off. You see the tree, like, heal back to life. It's a very nice effect. And then you see, some of the branches are turning into arms and a spear tip. And yet, Thalia comes out, makes a huge lightning blast that both knocks her and Percy out, and then I guess the battle is over. Apparently, like, that sort of annihilated a lot of the army. Alright, that's good. And then, Percy, when he's knocked unconscious, he and Tyson have a dream where they see Poseidon. And I swear, okay, who plays Poseidon? I'm gonna look up, let's see, Wikipedia. Toby Stevens. I swear he looks a lot like Professor Lupin from Harry Potter. Like, he looks so much like David Thewlis, it is, like, kind of scary. I mean, it sounds completely different. I don't know, I just found that a little distracting. And Poseidon's like, yes, there is a prophecy. We're gonna need help, so, hey, Tyson, you wanna come help me? And Tyson's like, oh yeah, sure. It's the least I can do to thank you for bringing me to Percy. And Tyson reveals that when he was, like, on the streets, like, he prayed to the gods for a friend. And so, I guess somehow, like, that led to Poseidon leading him to Percy. He's like, I asked for a friend, and I got a brother. That's a very nice moment. Tyson's just the best. I've said this a lot in these videos, but, like, Tyson really is just the most wholesome guy ever. And so, by the way, Tyson doesn't appear in the rest of the episode, so I assume by the time Percy woke up, he already left. So yeah, Percy wakes up to see Annabeth and Grover standing above him. Thalia is still asleep, like, on a bed next to him. Percy goes like, alright, say it. And so Annabeth and Grover both go, you drool in your sleep. And, you know, they have a good old ha-ha chuckle, which, that's still a weird thing to feel nostalgic over. And after, you know, Percy recovers, like, he, Annabeth, and Grover go find Chiron, because Chiron came back. Now, I don't know why, because here they say he was, like, banished because he was a son of Kronos. You know, knowing the fact that Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades are also sons of Kronos. In the book, remember, they accused him of poisoning Thalia's tree, and that's why he was banished. And so he came back when they proved to Mr. D that it was Luke, not Chiron. That's a little bit of a plot hole there, but whatever. You're like, oh, Thalia's back, isn't that great? And he's like, I think it's time I told you the truth, because the story of Thalia sacrificing herself to take on the Furies wasn't accurate. This is a very big departure from the book. Chiron was watching the entire time Luke, Annabeth, and Thalia were, like, getting to Camp Half-Blood 6 years ago. He was like arming like an arrow to try to, like, help defend Thalia. He was, like, some ways away. I feel like he should have gone to, like, get Luke and Annabeth, but whatever. But then all the Furies are sort of struck down by lightning. Now, they're immortal guardians for the underworld, so of course they came back. Turns out, oh, Zeus did it. And he's like, hi, Thalia, I'm your daddy. Oh god, that sounded bad. I'm sorry. It's like, hi, Thalia, I'm your father. And she's like, oh, god. And he's like, you are a child of the great prophecy. When you are close to 16, that means you're gonna have to make a big choice. And Thalia's like, what? I don't want that. No, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna take Luke and Annabeth and we're gonna go away. Zeus turns her into a tree for defiance. Alright, I get it. Zeus is not the best by any means. Like, we make fun of how every single problem in Greek mythology is caused by, and then along came Zeus, he hurled his thunderbolt. But, like, he has some redeeming qualities. So far we've seen, like, none from him this entire show. Kind of makes you wonder, like, why should we be, like, rooting for this guy? Like, maybe Poseidon or Hades should rule universe instead. But whatever. We'll see more of him in future seasons, probably. Obviously, Grover and Annabeth are taken aback by this because, like, they've been believing a lie for like 6 years now. And that's when Thalia comes into the room. Of course, she's happy to see Annabeth. I'm like, oh, you've grown. And, you know, they have a hug, and it's nice. He's like, where's Luke? And, nobody answers. Percy, you know, in a sort of narration, he's going, yeah, nightmares are bad, but it's even worse when they're staring right at you. So, that's where the episode ends. So they're sort of, like, potentially setting up a sort of, not rivalry, but sort of a, more antagonistic dynamic between Percy and Thalia for later, which is kind of strange because in the Titan's Curse, yeah, they butt heads, but, like, they are friends. We're definitely going to see a lot more of Thalia in the next season because Titan's Curse, the book, she is technically the secondary main character after Percy because, spoilers, I guess, Annabeth gets kidnapped pretty early on in the Titan's Curse, and part of the whole quest is to go rescue her. Actually, speaking of the Titan's Curse, I mean, they're filming season 3 right now. It's expected to last until March, and we did get a sneak peek in the mid-credits sequence, which was very clearly just kind of shoved in there because it just kind of awkwardly cuts from the credits scene to that mid-credits scene and then cuts back. But we see Percy and Annabeth at a school dance, and, you know, they sort of head out into the middle of the room, and they start dancing. That's nice. Last scene's about 15 seconds long. But it is something from the book. Given all the praise that I have heaped on Walker Scobell and Leia Sava Jeffries for their chemistry and how well they sell Percy and Annabeth's bond, that's gonna be nice to see. But yeah, and then it cuts back to the credits. And then the post-credits scene, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's kind of cute. We see Cersei's spa, and they made statues for Percy and Annabeth for passing the sirens. You know, sort of like what they did for like other people, like 3 episodes ago. And then she winks at the camera, and that's it. What a weird way to end. That's it. That's all of Percy Jackson Season 2. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a nice improvement over the first episode. And, I guess I can give my, like, full thoughts, like, in that every movie and show I watched in 2025 video, you know, sort of like what I did for the last 2 years. And which, by the way, that video, the amount of movies and TV shows I've seen in the last year is like more than double what I saw the previous year. So yeah, that video's probably gonna be like 3 hours long. Oh god, that'll probably be up sometime like next week. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. I thought the fight here was like nice. It lasted a decent amount of time, but it didn't last too long to get annoying. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. Some of the changes are kind of confusing. Like, I don't know why they're setting up Thalia to be like more of an antagonistic character, but like, we'll have to see. I'm getting more used to Tamara Smart's British accent. I think it's a kind of a nice fit for the character. But anyway, that's it. I'll see you with something else. I mean, well, Nintendo Music Weekly's still going. Yeah, there we go. Bye.